Last time these two went head-to-head, Doby missing 12 darts at double in their last meeting. Will he be able to perform at a high enough level in this one to give himself a chance at the back end of legs? Well, you're listening to Premier League Darts live on talkSPORT 2 in partnership with Village Hotels. Pack more into a breakaway at Village. Visit villagehotels.com for that. As you can hear, John McDonald now about to introduce the two players to the stage. First up, it is going to be the former Masters champion and World Championship semi-finalist Chris Dobey, looking to make amends for what happened the last time he took on Luke Litler, and a stroke of genius with his walk-on music as well. We all know from European Tour events that the crowd just lap this right up.
Yeah, we do tend to find that when people go to Germany, they have very interesting local walk-on songs. Ricky Evans has done it, Dave Chisnell has done it for years. And it's not going to be local hero tonight for Doby, because he's not in Newcastle anymore. He's in Berlin, and he will make his way to Riesa after tonight to try and get himself a first European Tour victory as well. Hasn't been in a final since 2019. But he hasn't been in a final in the Premier League since week 1.
And the next player to take to the stage, well, he knows a thing or two about finals, doesn't he? Not just making them, winning them. Well, Luke Litler storming his way to the stage. He had his finger to his ear asking this Berlin crowd to up the noise. Wasn't overly thrilled with the volume inside this arena, this wonderful arena, but I spoke to Luke Litler a few weeks ago and he was saying this was the one he was of course Manchester he looks forward to, but this is the arena he was most looking forward to playing in. He's been relishing this.
Nothing wrong with that. Some people earmark certain fixtures in Premier League football, maybe even in international football. You might want to play at Hertha Berlin, for instance, an absolutely monstrous stadium. But as far as size is concerned, this is one of the Premier League venues for darts, and this is somewhere that Luke Litler has not won a nightly title. This could earmark history. Like you mentioned, Abi, by the end of the night, he could be in a territory that nobody has ever been in before, and it wouldn't really shock us.
Of course it would be Luke Litler, wouldn't it, who's on for that record, as we mentioned at the top of the show as well. Last week in Newcastle he did break the ton mark for 180s hit in this campaign, and it really wouldn't surprise you if he did go on and make 200. He's obviously going to obliterate. It would take both arms falling off, I think, for him to not reach or break the record he set last year.
I think the only way he doesn't break 200 is if somebody doesn't tell him.
Yeah.
If somebody tells him he's got 100 at the halfway point, he will say, right, I will give you 200 by the time I get to the O2, because I think we all know he's going to make it. He's now got a 6-point lead at the top of the table because Humphries has now got 2 points this evening. Doby, sitting on 5 points in 7th position, has got to get moving. If he doesn't, he's going to be cut adrift with weeks running out. Next week will be Manchester for Luke Litler. That'll be his home game. I'm sure he's going to be attracting a lot of activity, and here we go again with a smile. Litler starts with a 1-2-1.
It's interesting that you mentioned, Nico, him being aware of the 180s he's hitting, because I spoke to him after his 4th weekly win and mentioned the 180s and mentioned the possibility of making it to 200, and he said, yeah, I went into the semi-final, I knew I needed X amount to break the ton mark, I knew going into the quarter-final I needed this, I knew I'd hit this, but he is fully aware, let me tell you, because he is playing so well that not only can he be aware of records and it doesn't put him off or it doesn't disturb him. Last week we saw him altering his throw in the final. Now I did ask him about that. He said it was because he was starting to feel a bit tired, so he was just trying to alter things. Now it's not going to make him less tired, is it, throwing a different way? So what advantage can you get? Is it just keeping you mentally engaged and mentally fresh if you're throwing a different way?
I'm actually not sure why you're asking me, because I used to throw darts the same way for years. I didn't have that second or third throw to try and take the pressure away. I was always quite robotic. Littler's on 60 now with Doby on 114, and Littler's got the first crack, single 20. Has to move across the oche by about a foot to the tops and hits it first time of asking. Not a great deal of energy expelled right there as he takes a 1-0 lead on talkSPORT 2.
No, a 14-dart start for Luke Littler, but Chris Dobey, as we mentioned at the start of this match, well, Doby will feel that this fixture, the last time they met, really was one that got away. He carved out so many chances for himself, 12 darts missed. He should have won that match.
Should is a very strong word in darts. 96 from Doby, leaves himself on 305. He's going to have to use the 18s potentially when he comes back. Littler on 443, crushes in a maximum. It's almost as if he moulded all 3 darts together there to leave 263. Looking very relaxed this evening, and why wouldn't he? He's got 4 weekly titles in this Premier League, and he is cruising at the top.
Yeah, that's the first 180 of this contest, and he's back in the red bit again, and that's the second 180 of this contest from Luke Littler to leave himself on 83. Doby on throw way back on 248, but as Littler hits those back-to-back 180s to leave himself a shot at this 83, starts on treble 17, isn't able to find it, so moves across to the 16s for the bull, but just misses outside, so an opportunity now for Chris Dobey. Wants 114. He also opts to start downstairs and drifts into the treble 3 bed instead, which means he now doesn't get a look at this.
Treble 19 with the second dart, and then he automatically, without aiming, hits this big 16 to leave 32, but Littler's on 25. You know what that means, 5 for double 10. This is his first attempt at 10s and his second. That's a rarity. Somebody frame that. It's a rare moment. Doby on 32 has just been given a gift. Can he unwrap it? First dart at double 16 is found, and he can exhale right now because it's 1 leg all.
He can indeed, and we mentioned those back-to-back 180s for Luke Littler in that last leg. Well, he threw those first 3 darts of this leg with a bit of authority, didn't he? Launched them into the board, but it is interesting actually that Chris Dobey, his opponent tonight, it's a 140. I thought that was going to be right on cue, but he has got the second highest 180 rate per leg in this Premier League.
Not surprised to hear that, because he is a big 180 hitter. He plays an awful lot of games, has done so in the last 12 months. Wasn't in the Premier League last year, but on the floor he was the main man over the 30 Players Championships in 2024. Littler's losing ground here. He's on 227 just like Doby, but he scored 6 with his first 2 darts. Small 5 and an even smaller 1. Luke Littler's just scored 26.
And he's giving a sarcastic cheer there, getting involved with the crowd. But Doby, it's all business for him. He is switching down to the 19s with maximum effect at the moment. Just found 2 big trebles to leave himself on 93.
You know what he was thinking there, right? He was going to try and leave 21 with a 180. He didn't do so. He's left 61. Doby's got 93 for a 2-1 lead. Big 19 leaves 74. So he's got a choice to make here. Treble 14 the play, misses it just left. So with 60 left and 1 dart, that means that Littler's going to get a chance at 61 for a 2-1 lead of his own.
Yeah, 2 big visits of 134 from Doby in this leg, but it is Littler. He's missed a dart at tops, and he has missed yet another dart outside of double 10.
That is 3 darts at double 10 and he's missed them all. He might not miss it again all night. Does he even get any more chances? Tops for Doby. Dart 1 is high, but the second one planted, using the marker to perfection, and that is a break of throw. Can Doby take this opportunity? It's early. It's something that Rob Cross couldn't take when he had a lead against Humphries in the previous match.
Yeah, but the thing he's doing better already is finishing with those opportunities. Yes, it went all the way to a last leg decider when they met, but he's 2 from 3. And Luke Litler just 1 from 6. I know it's cliche, but you really do have to look 5 times, don't you, when you see those sort of numbers for Luke Litler?
Yeah, he's a little bit puzzled at the minute. It's a bit up and down, even though he's staying upright here. 3 single 20s, 2 above the 60, 1 below, leaving him on 344. Doby's got a 20-point lead. Can he make the most of it? 58 called by legendary referee George Noble on the stage. This is where Littler's got to book his ideas up. He's done just that with a maximum, of course. Gives a quizzical look to the crowd as he leaves 164. Doby back on 266. Gonna have to use the 19s. He's troubleless once again. He is livid. Leaves 207. So Littler in leg number 4, 2-1 down on talkSPORT 2, and is looking for a break back. Scores a ton to leave 64. Doby can pressurise here, but he might have to survive more darts at the outer ring from the number 2 in the world.
Yeah, I don't recommend relying on Littler mistakes as an overall strategy or a plan. But what do I know?
He's going to leave tops with 1. And he's underneath again, leaving double 10. Doby's back on 147 after 3 consecutive treble-less visits. This will be out of the clear blue sky. He's not got the treble 19, only the single. Leaves 128 with 2. So treble 20, eats into the score, does well. 2 trebles leaves him on double 4 if Littler misses double 10 again.
Right, he's missed it 3 times, make that 4 times, 5 times, edging closer, but now he drifts into the wrong segment altogether.
Have we stepped into the upside down because 2 visits with the darts and missed double 10? Doby on double 4, this is a huge opportunity. Dart number 3 at double 4 is missed inside. Another opportunity missed, and Littler's on 5. Single 1 for double 2. He's missed it underneath by a centimetre, and again, right now, the way he's throwing at these doubles, he wouldn't hit them with a hedgehog.
No. He cannot work out what is going wrong here, but Doby, you have to say, from the score of 26 from Luke Littler that you highlighted earlier, he's got embroiled with the crowd, he's got involved with them, and he's not really looked settled since then. But Doby has just gone about his business. He's not even looked over to see what Littler's getting involved with, and he's just going about getting the job done.
Even if he is to get out of this jam at 3-1 down, Luke Littler would have to face his nemesis in the next round. That will be Gerwyn Price, who's got a sensational record against him, especially in Premier League darts. But Doby, starting this leg, he's trebleless again with 59. He's on 350, which can be found in 6 darts. But Littler's on the rampage. All of a sudden, he's found a 177 after a 140 start. He's got a huge lead.
I think that's got to be, if you are playing Luke Littler, one of the most infuriating things. You're probably thinking, right, I just want this lull to last. Oh, right, he's just had a perfect. Oh, he's had 2 perfect visits, right, 3. It just happens so quickly, doesn't it? You just think, oh, he's gone off the boil a bit. He's struggling to concentrate. And then he manages to find it. He's left himself a Shanghai here.
Yeah, but will he go the Shanghai with Doby hitting a max to leave double 18? Littler has hit 3 tops before in the Premier League, but he's gone conventional. Big 20, doesn't get the treble. So all he can do, for some reason, is go for the bull with the last start. A 25 leaves 55, and Doby's got double 18 for a 4-1 lead. Hits it immediately. This is now maybe a better opportunity than he had in Brighton when he lost 6-5 to this young man. He's got a 3-1 losing record against the 18-year-old world champion in his career. But with that 180 start, Doby is bolstering his chance of getting a first Premier League win against him.
Yeah, absolutely no surprise that Chris Dobey's one win over Luke Littler came on the floor, as Luke Littler responds to Doby's 180 at the start of this leg.
Well, Littler's just done something that you would only expect from a trickster. He hit treble 20, then feigned the last dart, then hit it with the actual shot that he hit. He wanted to throw. Only a ton, I say only. 2-2-1 after 6. Doby 222 still has the throw here.
He's looking good now, Doby, isn't he? He's the player who's remained in control of every aspect of his game in this match.
He seems to have a little bit of the crowd with him as well tonight. Now, Littler has hit a big 12 there to leave 170. We haven't seen one tonight yet, but he might not get a look at it. Doby's on 82. That's a right centre 25. That's just in the single 16. It was almost the treble, and Doby's doubling tonight has been brilliant. That tops an 82 checkout in 3 darts, gives him a 5-1 lead. You would say surely he's going to get the 2 points and into the semi-finals from here, but nothing is a guarantee.
It's not, but I do want to ask, it is a slightly awkward question to ask about Luke Littler, because it is a bit of an eye roll when people add a bit of negativity, because what he's doing for this sport is remarkable, it's commendable, and I love the majority of what he does. But is there a little bit of concern about the way he's reacted to things starting to go wrong in the second leg of this match?
No, I don't think so. I think we have to understand he's 18 years of age. He plays this sport like a video game, and if he was not to complete a level, it would upset him. It upsets everybody, but all dart players have got different reactions.
Oh, absolutely. We want to see that it means something to him. If he didn't show reaction, then people would complain that he wasn't interested or that he wasn't invested enough. Yeah,
we live in a world where your reaction, whether it's tiny or massive, it is scrutinised, especially when you're the most talked about sports person on a social media search engine in the last 18 months. The most searched athlete in the last year. That is a fact.
We talk about his reactions to things. Well, he's left himself on 64 here. Wants tops now to get a second leg of this match, and that's exactly what he's done. Stays in this one, but it's now Chris Dobey who's got the darts to get the job done, get over the line and set up that meeting with Gerwyn Price. We mentioned a little earlier when Stephen Bunting got the better of Nathan Aspinall how big that win could be in the context of the league standings, because Doby could actually end up on the same points as Nathan Aspinall this evening.
Yes, he could. That's the beauty of this format, actually. You get 2 points for getting to the semi-finals. You get a further point for making the final, but if you can win the night, you can get the magical 5. So that's 20 points for Littler in this campaign, purely from wins alone. 51. Only 51 from him. Last start in the treble 4, looking for the cover, and Doby on 320 here, 10 points adrift. He's still in control with the darts here with a 5-2 lead.
And this feels so different to Brighton, doesn't it? Because Chris Dobey isn't going into each leg thinking, well, I just crawled over the line in that one. 60. No, Littler's not playing his best right now, but Chris Dobey, despite averaging below 95 before these, got 2 in the treble 20 bed.
But it is 112 to win the match by 6 legs to 2. We've already seen a 6-2 tonight in the first quarter-final. In the last one, it could be exactly the same scoreline.
Yeah, no Michael van Gerwen here this weekend, so it's Gerwyn Price who awaits the winner of this one. And if it is to be Chris Dobey, he has to wait a little longer. But Luke Littler, well, he's not left himself on a finish. 165, a bogey number.
Yeah, Doby on 56 to win this one, to get a first win against Luke Littler in Premier League darts and to go into the semi-finals in Berlin. He's got a single 16. How's his tops this time? It's way high by 2 centimetres. The third dart of the combination is there, and there's no celebration from Doby. And Luke Littler does shake the hand of Chris Dobey, his stablemate, on the stage. But Berlin is not going to be Luke Littler's tonight, but it could still be Chris Dobey's. He's won by 4 legs, Abi.
He has indeed, and a thoroughly deserved victory for Chris Dobey. Is finishing far superior to what we saw from him when these two last met on a Premier League stage, where he was left to rue missed opportunities. But it was 55% checkout success for Hollywood in this one, who gets the job done. His scoring in patches was absolutely superb, and if he can bring that when he takes on Gerwyn Price in semi-final number 2, that could be an absolute belter of a contest in Berlin. But the first semi-final of the evening is up next. It is going to be the bullet Stephen Bunting who got the better of Nathan Aspinall by 6 legs to 2 in our first quarter-final of the night, with an average in excess of 103. That, of course, Bunting's first win in this year's Premier League campaign. Had to wait until week 9 in order to record it, but he has downed the Asp, and his reward for doing so is a meeting with cool hand Luke Humphries, who got the better of Rob Cross in what was a bit of a topsy-turvy and intriguing match. He found himself trailing, struggling to find anything in that one, Luke Humphries, but then in the middle part of the match was able to turn it on and get over the line with a 98 average. And there we've just seen Chris Dobey down in the reigning Premier League champion in Luke Litler, and he's going to be taking on Gerwyn Price, who we've not seen so far this evening, and that is because, if you are just joining us, Michael van Gerwen had to withdraw from tonight's action due to a shoulder injury. That means Gerwyn Price has leapfrogged MVG in the league standings. He will face Chris Dobey in a little while, but when we return, we'll be building up to Stephen Bunting against Luke Humphries. When it comes to the Darts Premier League, the last thing you want is an online mishap throwing you off your game. Among the fastest VPNs available on the market, NordVPN gives you a quick location change when you need it most. Go to nordvpn.com/dartsvpn and get 2 years plus 4 months free and a lovely little birthday deal. It's risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee.